Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Ksoo, man. We're going to give a Ksoo update, at least about his case, man. And we're going to talk about his brother, man, Krazy K. Now, that situation with Krazy K, we did a video about. He got caught, and obviously he's been transported back to Duval County, back to Jacksonville, Florida. Now, with Ksoo, it's a whole nother thing, man. It's going into a new realm as far as his court case is concerned, because they're talking about pulling out some type of scan on Ksoo's body so that way they can get a better understanding of his dimensions and all this other stuff, man, in order to prosecute him in the case. Now, a judge basically okayed all this, and it seems like his lawyers were furious at this, man. They were going to battle in court today, and sorry to say, it seems like Ksoo's legal team came out on the losing end just in this situation, man. But it was interesting to say the least, man. Now, the video clips and all that, man, we're going to get to the specifics on that, and we're going to talk about Krazy K getting moved over to Duval County. But before we get to the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about this situation with Krazy K. Now, for those of you who don't know, man, Ksoo's brother has been pretty much, he was on the run, man, for most of this year. And, you know, as soon as the case came down for the shooting that took the life of a rapper by the name of Lil Buck, man, I believe his real name is Charles McCormick. And Ksoo's brother, Krazy K, was actually named in that indictment, you know what I mean? And he was named as a suspect, and there were charges that came down. But dude went on the run, man. Nobody could figure out where he was. Then he was finally caught in Atlanta. Now, when he was caught in Atlanta, I did a video about that. But then recently, dude was transported all the way back to Duval County, Jacksonville to be exact, Florida. You know what I mean? Now, it seems like since they've got him in custody, they've got everybody involved in this case as far as they feel. You know what I mean? Now, let's actually look at a short news clip where they talked about this whole situation.
He ran but couldn't hide. 26-year-old Abdul Robinson Jr. is the fifth suspect charged in connection to 23-year-old Charles McCormick's 2020 murder.
The police never stop looking for you. They never stop turning over rocks. They never stop picking up leads. They never stop talking to witnesses.
An arrest report shows Robinson Jr. was picked up by Atlanta police last month and charged with second-degree murder. Records show Robinson Jr.'s brother, Hakeem Robinson, is also charged with second-degree murder. Their father, Abdul Robinson Sr., is charged with accessory after the fact. JSO says the family is a part of a violent drug trafficking organization known as ATK. Hakeem Robinson is a local rapper named Ksoo. His attorney says the group is a licensed record label and clothing brand. Robinson Sr. is known as the leader of the group, according to JSO.
Okay, so let's talk about that news story real quick, man. So they talked about a couple of things. They talked about the fact that Abdul Robinson Sr. and Abdul Robinson Jr. and Hakeem Robinson, that being Blue, Krazy K, and Ksoo, all have been locked up behind the murder of Lil Buck, the rapper Lil Buck, right? And then there's two other people who are also locked up behind this murder as well. Now, this leads into the next story that we're going to talk about, but it seems like, man, there's a lot of debate about who exactly carried out the shooting, who was actually the shooter in this situation, and who was actually the people that we seen on videotape running away from the scene of the crime. Because obviously, man, there's some debate on the size and dimensions, because there was a big situation that happened on social media where Ksoo's attorneys were, you know, basically going to war on the fact that the dude in the picture, or the people that they have in the video, and all the testimony that they have from witnesses, had described somebody that did not look like Ksoo, because Ksoo is a big dude, man, like 6'2", 6'3", 240, 250, and the description of the shooter said it was somebody like 5'10", you know, 180 pounds or something like that. Now, there's a big difference between 6'2", 6'3", 250 and somebody who's 5'10", 180 pounds, man. That's a really slim guy compared to a big dude, you know what I mean? So based on that, it seems like, man, the state is like, forget this. We're about to see the dimensions and try some new tactics to see if Ksoo can really fit the description of the shooter, because he's the one who's actually, being charged with this shooting. He's being charged with this shooting and another shooting. And when I say shooting, I mean murders. You know what I mean? Like, this is a wild situation and all the chips are online. So in the next story that we're going to talk about, let's get into it. We're talking about this whole body scanning element that they got for Ksoo. They're basically bringing about something that's brand new. Now, this is according to what Ksoo's attorney said in the courtroom today, that basically they're coming out with something brand new in order to scan the dimensions of Ksoo's body to see if he fits the description based on the testimony. Now, this is wild, man. And it seemed like the judge was all for it, but Ksoo's attorneys were not. So they were going at it in court today. So let's look at one of those clips.
And what I mean by that is, for example, the distance from your elbow to your wrist, that does not change. And so those are some of the dimensions and some of the data that can be obtained from this digital body scan.
In that clip, you're basically hearing the state's attorney say what he's trying to do, what he's trying to get from the data, what the scan is going to provide as far as the dimensions, like things that don't change, like the distance from your wrist to your elbow and things like that. But, this still had me questioning this, because I was like, all right, if that's the purpose of the scan, I know they do this in other ways. It's been done traditionally in other ways. And that was the argument that his lawyers made. And one of them, she basically went off and she said this right here.
If Mr. Cooper is coming to this court to ask to do some form of testing to determine the height of Mr. Robinson, because that is what I've deduced out of everything that he has just said right now.
Well,
why wouldn't you come in?
And the length of his arms and the length of his legs.
Why wouldn't you come in and ask for an X-ray? And then we'd have an independent radio.
Okay, now in that clip, Ksoo's attorney, she was basically asking what's wrong with the traditional means of, scanning the body or not scanning his body. Well, basically, getting his body's dimensions, like how tall he is, his height and all that stuff. Like, what is wrong with those things? Because, they've used those means to prosecute people in the past. So why not use those means to vindicate somebody if that's the case? You know what I mean? So she was making a pretty good argument in the court, and it seemed like the judge was going for it, but I mean, at the end of the day, the judge was like, nah, she agrees to the scanning. Now, when you hear that, you say, okay, you getting your body scanned and it's something brand new, it makes you uneasy. I mean, it makes you like think about, okay, man, this is sure proof that crime does not pay. Now, I can't say that Ksoo did any crimes. I don't know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty to me, right? But man, just to be in this predicament where they're arguing about scanning your body, man, it just seems a little invasive, man. Now, they said that the procedure is non-invasive or anything like that, but still, it's odd to say the least, man. It feels weird, man. And Ksoo was just sitting there the whole time in the court, just looking, listening, and probably just trying to put things together on what they're actually arguing about. But man, it's a weird predicament that he's in. Now, the judge finally came down and said, yeah, she's going to allow for the state to do this scan on him, and we're going to have to see where that goes from there. Now, let's look at that clip.
Scanning, but for now, I do believe the rules allow for the state to take this.
Now, prior to the judge giving that, giving her decision right there, she basically, or when I say she, I mean Ksoo's lawyer, she basically made a pretty good argument as well that, okay, if we're going to be doing this scan and it's something brand new that nobody's ever done before, according to what she says, I don't know if that's factual or not, but she says since it's something brand new, why don't we just release them on pretrial, like give them pretrial release? You know what I mean? She tried, man. She tried to say, all right, let's bond them out then if we're going to be doing new tests on them and doing scans of them. And man, the judge went against that as well. You know what I mean? So it was a bad day for Ksoo's lawyers in court today, according to, depending on if you wanted to see Ksoo home on bond or if you wanted to see him not get this scan. I don't know, man. I don't have an opinion really on the scan and all that. It just seems wild and seems like a weird new way of doing things. And I don't know. I haven't been in on these cases or anything like that, but it seems like the state is coming with this and they feel like this is going to bring them enough evidence to do something. Now, my question is, what if this backfires? What if the scan proves that, hey, man, he didn't have anything to do with any of this? Like, does he immediately get released from jail on at least that case? Or do we go back to square one? Because he's still fighting two cases in this situation, which is real ugly for Ksoo at the time. Now, with that, what do you guys think? Do you think that them scanning Ksoo's body in order to get the dimensions is, kind of messed up because of the situation that he's in? Or do you feel like, man, this is just what comes with all that stuff. You know what I mean? If you're going to be playing close to the streets and, you know, when you're getting accused of a crime, even if you're guilty or not, this is just a part of it. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.